Hey guys, welcome to Tech Talk. Today there are several desktop operating systems of various flavors. For example, we have Windows, we have Mac OS, we have Unix, we have Linux, and then we have ReactOS. I'm sorry, you haven't heard of ReactOS? Well, it's a free and open source operating system for x86 and x64 computers that was designed to be compatible with programs and devices running under Windows Server 2003. It doesn't use any of the Microsoft source code, and it is the goal of the ReactOS team to allow it to be a drop-in replacement for Windows. I initially had a difficult time getting ReactOS to install with networking support under VirtualBox. It took a few hours of research to figure it out, and then I wound up having issues accessing the ReactOS downloader, errors regarding SSL. Well, I eventually found the link to install ReactOS 0.4.8 release candidate and was able to get it working. So now I'm going to save you lots of hours of research and frustration. I'll put the links to the VirtualBox and ReactOS 0.4.8 release candidate in the description below. When 0.4.8 is released, I'll update my description with the released URL. So I'm going to cut straight to the chase in this video. You'll see how to install ReactOS 0.48 release candidate running under VirtualBox 5.2.8 with full networking support. That is, you'll be able to browse the internet and do all kinds of network-related things. VirtualBox itself is a free virtualization platform you can install and run on your laptop. For those who already have or know how to install VirtualBox, you may want to fast forward a little bit. So, we will start with how to install VirtualBox. Then we'll install ReactOS with networking support within a VirtualBox VM. So, let's get started. The first thing you'll want to do is go to www.virtualbox.org and scroll down a little bit and download the version of VirtualBox 5.2.8 for your particular operating system. In my case, I'm going to download it for Windows host. After downloading VirtualBox, launch the executable, and then follow the prompts. As you click all the way through, once you get to the end, you may have to restart your operating system. Once you do that, on to the next step. Okay, next, you'll want to download the ReactOS 0.48 release candidate or official release if it's available at the time that you're watching this video. So essentially what you'll want to do is go to this URL here, which again, I'll put this link in the description below. So you may want to copy and paste that instead of typing all of this. After you click this and go to that web page, the download will start in just a few seconds. Once downloaded, you'll want to take the existing file and extract it. And when you extract it, you'll find an ISO image. That ISO image, you can either burn it to a CD or DVD drive and have a copy that way. Or alternatively, I'll show you an easier way to do it without having to burn a CD, and we'll just launch it directly in VirtualBox. Great. Now we have downloaded Oracle VirtualBox and we're ready to create our virtual machine running ReactOS. So let's go ahead and launch the icon here. And we'll go to New. And we'll name the virtual machine ReactOS. And the type, Microsoft Windows. And version, we'll select Windows XP 32-bit. And then we'll click Next. Now it's going to ask how much memory do you want to give this virtual machine. I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 gigs of RAM. Once you set the memory, hit Next. And we're going to create a virtual hard disk now. So just click Create. And a VDI is just fine, so we'll click Next. And dynamically allocated size is fine, so we'll click Next. Our 10 gigabyte initial size is just fine. We'll click Create. Okay, so now at this point, right click on the virtual machine that you just created, click Settings, and this is the part that you don't hear a lot about. Let's go ahead and set up the networking support. And this is going to save you a lot of time. This is what works good for me. So it says Enable Network Adapter. So here, select a bridged adapter. And basically we're going to use in my case, we're going to use this first one in the list. These are all the network adapters that might be connected to your computer. This is what's connected to mine. You can select any of the adapters that actually has internet access. It's up to you to select which one it is, but most likely it's going to be the first one in the list, but you'll have to double check. If you're wrong, just make sure that when you make a change to this setting, make sure the virtual machine is shut down. So let's say you try an adapter, it doesn't work for whatever reason, shut down or power off that virtual machine and then make the change here. You won't be able to change it while it's live. That's a very important fact. So make sure you remember that. Okay, so now we've selected the network adapter. Let's click Advanced. Now, this is the very important part. Make sure you select PCNet Fast 3. If you select some of these others, chances are it's not going to work. This is the only one that worked for me. So you select that, and before we click OK, let's go over to storage. Alright, one thing that you want to do is select the CD-ROM drive. Now instead of burning the ISO image, we can just assign that ISO image to this virtual machine. After we install, we'll have to disconnect it. But let's go ahead and do this. So what we're going to do is click the little icon under this CD, click that, and it says choose virtual optical disk file, and browse to the location where you downloaded and extracted the ISO image. In my case, this is the location. So I'm going to select ReactOS 0.48 release candidate, hit open, and now we are ready to power up our virtual machine. Alright, so now let's start up our virtual machine. So I'm going to zoom in here, we're going to click Start. And I'm going to size up this window so we can see it a little better. Okay, so now we're ready to go. First thing you want to do is select your particular language here. In my case, it's English. So I'm going to hit Enter. Now it says Enter to install ReactOS, so I'm going to hit Enter. I'm going to hit Enter once again here. And I'm going to accept these defaults by hitting Enter. Now, I have an unprinted partition space, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Enter on there. It's going to format it as a FAT file system, quick format. Hit Enter. It's now formatted. I'm going to go ahead and accept the defaults here for ReactOS as the location installed. Hit Enter. And at this point, it's copying all the files off of that ISO image that we associated with the virtual machine. So we're going to let this finish. It's going to take just a few seconds. By the time I'm done talking, it'll be done. Oh, look at that. It's about done. Now, hit Enter one more time to install the bootloader. All right. Now everything's been installed. It says remove all floppy disks. So remember, we have that CD or DVD ISO image mounted. So let's go back and unmount that. To do that, we'll bring back VirtualBox and right-click over here on our VirtualBox and go to Storage, select the CD, and remove disk from virtual drive. Click that. Okay, so now we've removed it. We'll go back here, disconnected the CD. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And enter. And it's going to reboot. Now when it asks you here, you can hit enter or you can wait the number of seconds. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And it's going to go ahead and start up ReactOS. Okay, now it's going to ask you here for setting up the drivers. So I'm going to go ahead and click next through here. You should read the license agreement. We did that, right? You can click custom if you want to change any of the values here for your regional settings. Click here. You want to change your keyboard. We'll hit next. We can give it a name. Hit next. I'm good with that computer name. I'm not going to put an administrator password in. And the time here, that's all fine. I'm going to change the time zone to central. Hit next. You have two themes you can choose. I kind of like the classic theme, so I'm going to hit next. Typical settings next. I'm not going to connect any work group at this point, so we'll hit next. And it's going to install the components. Now it's asking to restart the virtual machine, so we're going to go ahead and restart ReactOS. Now at this point, once it restarts, we should have networking support. So we're going to try that out. Hit enter. No, we don't want to hit enter. Always do that. That's okay. Yeah, we can hit enter. Oh, it's late. Okay, so now we are in the virtual machine. You can click next on this. It fails every time. I don't know why. I guess it can't find the drivers for multimedia and all this other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and let that go through. Now I'm going to go to full screen here. And one thing you'll notice, you can't resize the actual virtual machine inside, right? Okay, that's one issue. We're going to fix that. The other one, let's see if we have networking support. So initially you don't have a web browser in here, right? At least I don't think you do. Maybe ReactOS Explorer. No, that's the File Explorer. So you have no internet access or no web browser installed. So we're going to go to this tool, Applications Manager. And look at that. It just made a connection to the internet and got a list of applications that we can install. So our networking support is great. We are good to go. I'm going to select Internet and Network. And we are going to go down to Firefox. And I'm going to pick version of Firefox 4.8. Right click. And select Install. So now it's going to download Firefox 48. Okay, now it's installing or extracting, and it will install Firefox shortly. So keep in mind, we have a virtual machine now running ReactOS, which is basically Windows, not made by Microsoft, if that makes sense to you. So anyway, we're going to click Next, and next here, all the typical Firefox install stuff. So we finish, and now what? I don't think we need to worry about importing Internet Explorer because we don't have Internet Explorer. Of course, Firefox doesn't know we're running on ReactOS. And voila. Okay, we're not going to update you right now. So let's go to Google. Always a fun place to go. Google. And that looks good. So next, let's go to youtube.com. And we'll search for Wagner's Tech Talk. And there we go. There's Wagner's Tech Talk. We'll click on it. And those are the last videos that I created. Of course, hopefully if you try this, you'll see this video on there and maybe even more. So anyway, that's good. Our internet connection is working great. All right, so now the other issue that we want to change is you want to be able to use a higher resolution device driver so you can actually run this in full screen. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And this one's a little bit tricky, but not too bad. So what you want to do is go up to Devices menu option. Let me zoom in here so you can see. Devices, insert guest edition CD image. Go to this guy here. Go to the CD, and you'll notice the CD has been loaded for you. When you selected that option, double click it, and what you want to do is run this guy. Hit next, next, install. Now it's asking you if you want to reboot. We'll go ahead and reboot. Zoom out so you can see. Hit enter. Okay, now notice this. As I scale the screen, let's go full screen. It scales with me, whereas before it wasn't. Also, I can go into full screen mode here. It's telling me to press host right control. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it because there's actually a little icon or a little menu that pops up down here on the bottom. You can just click the little squares and it'll put you back. So I'm just going to say go to full screen, and now we have ReactOS running in a virtual machine with full networking support. I'm going to launch Firefox again. Let's just go to Facebook. We'll do another test here. Networks just fine. So here you can fully test out ReactOS in a virtual machine, in a virtualized environment on your laptop or desktop computer. It's pretty cool. The amazing thing is all of this is not from Microsoft. It's amazing. Hey guys, thank you all for watching this video on ReactOS. I think it's a phenomenal operating system. It's got a lot of great features. The developers have done a wonderful job. I think as more and more developers get on board with the product or tool, that they can really do some amazing things, and who knows where it'll be in another year or two. But I definitely think you should try it out on a VirtualBox machine and follow through the steps that you saw here, and get it working on your box and play around with it. Install different applications, see how it works, and yeah, I think you'll be impressed. I'm going to do the same. I've got some additional applications I want to try out, so be sure and like and subscribe this video, and hopefully we'll be having some more videos here very soon. So thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.